The nurse had a heart of ice, but a child's faith brought her to tears. Have you ever wondered what the true force behind love is? Not the love from fairy tales, but the kind that finds us in the darkness, that asks us to believe when there are no reasons left. This is the story of Eleanor, a woman who wore an angel's white uniform, but had forgotten how to fly. A pediatric nurse whose heart, tired of seeing so much pain, had closed itself off to the most powerful feeling in the universe. It is a journey about a dormant heart and the unwavering faith of a child, who proved that to love, first, one must believe. What happens when a soul that has lost all faith is confronted by an act of love that defies logic itself? If you believe that love can work miracles, subscribe now, because the story of Eleanor and her little patient will reaffirm your faith in humanity. Eleanor was the best nurse on that hospital floor. The most competent, the most efficient. Her movements were precise. Her administration of medicine, flawless. The children respected her, but they felt her distance. There was an invisible barrier, a wall of professionalism she had built to protect herself from heartbreak. For Eleanor, faith was a statistic, and love, a luxury she could no longer afford. In her world, hope was a flame she had seen extinguished far too often to still believe in its light. And then, Grace arrived. Grace was a 7-year-old girl with eyes that seemed to hold all the stars in the sky, but with a body as fragile as an autumn leaf. Her condition was delicate, and the prognosis, uncertain. But while the doctors read charts and her parents cried in silence, Grace had an unshakable certainty. She would look at Eleanor and see not just a nurse. She saw her guardian angel. "It's you," she would whisper in her weak voice. "You're the one who's going to make me fly again." Eleanor heard this with a pang of pain. It was the blind faith of childhood, a fantasy that the harsh reality of this place would soon disprove. She cared for Grace with her usual efficiency, but her heart remained locked away. Days turned into weeks, and Grace's little light began to flicker, to fade. The doctors were pessimistic. Her parents' faith was wavering. And Eleanor, deep down, prepared herself for the inevitable, for yet another flame to go out. In the face of science and despair, can a child's faith truly change destiny? Leave a like if you believe it can, and keep watching to see the moment that changed everything. One rainy afternoon, when the floor was quieter and sadder than ever, Grace called for Eleanor. Her fragile little hands were holding something. It was a small star, made from the golden paper strips of a candy box. "This is for you, Angel," Grace said with immense effort. "It's a faith amulet, to help you believe stronger. For both of us." As she received that little star in her hands, something inside Eleanor broke. It wasn't a gift. It was a rescue. This child, who had every reason to have lost her faith, was offering hers to her. In that instant, Eleanor saw herself through Grace's eyes, and what she saw terrified her. An empty woman with broken wings, incapable of offering the love that this little girl so desperately believed she possessed. The professionalism, the distance, it wasn't protection. It was a prison. And the tears, which she hadn't shed in years, began to roll down her face. From that day on, a new nurse walked into Grace's room. The name was the same, but the soul was different. Eleanor didn't just administer medicine. She held Grace's hand and prayed with her. She didn't just check vital signs. She told stories, sang lullabies, and whispered words of hope. She took the faith borrowed from that child and watered it with all the love that still existed, buried in her heart. She decided, as an act of pure faith, to believe in Grace. And then, the inexplicable happened. Slowly, almost imperceptibly, the numbers on the monitors began to improve. The color returned to Grace's face. A genuine smile replaced the expression of pain. Eleanor's love, now real and overflowing, seemed to be achieving what medicine had hesitated to promise. On the morning of a day celebrating children, the sun flooded the room. Grace, much stronger, was sitting up in bed, waiting to be discharged. When Eleanor walked in, the little girl opened her arms. In the most sincere hug Eleanor had ever received, Grace whispered in her ear, "I knew your faith was the strongest of all, my angel." Eleanor held her tight, her face wet with happy tears, and felt her own wings, long broken, begin to heal. Their journey teaches us the most profound lesson about the human heart, perfectly captured by the philosopher Erich Fromm. Love is an act of faith, and whoever is of little faith is also of little love. Eleanor thought her heart was empty because the world was cruel. But the truth, which a small child taught her, was that her heart was empty because her faith had died. By accepting Grace's gift, She didn't just accept a paper star. She accepted faith, and in doing so, she opened the floodgates to love. And it was this love, born from an act of faith, that worked the true miracle. In honor of all the children in the world, may their pure and unwavering faith always remind us how to love. Did this story touch your heart? Did it renew your hope? Comment below, leave a like to celebrate the power of faith and love, and share this message to inspire more people. Subscribe now, and if you can, consider making a donation to help us continue creating stories that touch the soul. Thank you for watching and for believing with us. Until the next story.